All of these verb tenses are used to talk about or write about future situations. I'll show you how to use the verb work in the future tense, the future continuous tense, the future perfect tense, and the future perfect continuous tense. Here's the verb work in the simple form. Here it is in the past tense. Here's the verb as a past participle. And then working is the present participle. Work, worked, worked, working. Use the simple future tense for future activity. So here is the present. This is now. And the future is anytime after now. So it could be right here. If it is 3 o'clock now, then the future could be 4 o'clock. The easiest way to form the future tense is by using the modal verb will. Will is a helping verb, or you can refer to it as a modal verb, and use this with the simple form of the verb. I will work, and then we'll use the word there. I will work there. Here's the helping verb or modal verb. Here's the main verb. The main verb is in the simple form. To make this negative, add not after will. I will not work there. These two words are often contracted to won't. I won't work there. To make a question, put will first, and then you can use any subject. Let's use you. Will you, and then here's the main verb in the simple form. Will you work there? Will you work there? I will work there. In this sentence, here's the helping verb, or you can call it the modal verb, and this is the main verb. The main verb is in the simple form. Use modal verbs and helping verbs with the simple form for the future tense. To make it negative, add the word not after the helping verb. I will not work there. These two words can be contracted to won't. I won't work there. And for a question, put the helping verb first, then the subject, and then the main verb. Will you work there? It's important to consider that be going to can substitute for will. These are almost the same, and each is used with the simple form work. So in this sentence, I am going to work there. These three words are about the same as the word will. To make it negative, just put not here after the verb be, and to make a question, put the verb be first. If we change the subject to you, then the verb be becomes are, then the subject, and then going to work there. Are you going to work there? Remember that the verb be changes according to the subject. I am you are, he is, and the plural uses are. To form the future continuous tense, use will, then be, and then the main verb would be in the simple form, but add ing. So in this case, I will be working there. This is a continuous activity in the future. So if this is now, something starts later in the future and it continues into the future. It is possible to use be going to as a substitute for will. In this case, I am going to be working there. Be going to can be used in place of will. I am going to be working there. Here's a sentence in the future continuous tense. I will be working there. For the negative, put not after will. I will not be working there. These two can be contracted to won't. I won't be working there. And for a question, I'll change the subject to you. Will you be working there? So here's the helping verb with be, and then the main verb work with an ing ending. It's possible also to use the going to future. Are you going to be working there? So here the verb be is are because of the subject, and then going to. These substitute for will. Will you be working there? Are you going to be working there? The future perfect tense is a very difficult verb tense to use. Use it when talking about some action, some sort of activity that's completed in the future. So this is now, and the future perfect happens sometime here. And that action or activity is completed. To form the future perfect tense, use will, then have, and the past participle is the main verb. It goes right here. In this case, worked. Will have worked. So use this for something that has been completed in the future. This is 2023 now, and I started working as a teacher in 1988. By the year 2028, I'll have worked as a teacher for 40 years. But we're not in the year 2028. We're in 2023. However, I can talk about the situation by using the future perfect tense. Here's the verb work in the form of a sentence. I will have worked there. This is a good example in showing how the verb changes, but in actually using this verb in a real situation, it doesn't sound good. It's not very helpful because you need additional information. But for the purpose of this video, you can see how you can form the future perfect tense with a regular verb like work. To make the negative, put not after will. will not have worked. And you can, of course, contract will and not to won't. And in the question, we can change the subject to you. Will you have worked there? Of course, you would have additional information in a question like this. Will you have worked there for 40 years by the year 2028? If someone is asking me a question, will you have worked there for 40 years by the year 2028? The future perfect continuous tense is similar to the future perfect tense, and it is also very difficult to use. But you're talking about some activity that happens in the future and it's continuous. To form the future perfect continuous tense, use will, then have, then been, and then the main verb, which would be this simple form here, and an ing ending. Will have been working. Here's an example of the future perfect continuous tense. By the year 2029, I will have been working as a teacher for over 40 years. I started in 1988. It's 2023 now. And if I think about the future, if I think about this year, for whatever reason, then I would say this. The future perfect tense and the future perfect continuous tense are both very difficult to use. And in this case, I would probably just use the future perfect tense. But it's good to know this because you might hear its use occasionally. Here's the verb work in the future perfect continuous tense. I will have been working there. So there are 4 words in this verb phrase. The main verb is in the simple form with this ing ending. To make the negative, add not to will. I will not have been working there. These two can be contracted to won't. And to make the question, we'll change the subject to you. Will you have been working there? And in each case, you could add this so that it makes more sense. Alone, like this, these are not very good examples of how to use the future perfect continuous tense. This is simply a demonstration of how to make it. So, will you have been working there for over 40 years? And there's a question mark.